same person. Well, we used to run track.
Yeah.
And
I was 17 years old, 17, 18.
yeah,
Holy smokes.
it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And
Next door
it's
neighbor.
been pretty much since then, since we seen each other till just a few hours ago. So had no idea same person or I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I know. That's speechless.
Tell us a story, boss.
Okay. Cowboy poetry. It's sort of a oxymoron, kind of like government intelligence or jumbo shrimp. Well, back in the 1880s, cowboys had come around the campfire, and one guy'd start telling a story about a cow that got away or a horse that threw him, the other guy trying to outdo him. And before you know it, we had today's modern day fish story, so to speak. Well, many cowboy poems many songs were cowboy poems first. An example is Home on the Range. That was a cowboy poem. So I am a cowboy poet. I'm the Cowboy Poet Laureate of Tennessee, given that title given to me by the Governor and General Assembly. And it's a lifetime appointment. My wife says if I don't start shaping up, it's going to be a short one. But let me give you an example. Some people say it is a gift to write these words in verse. To me, it's nothing more than a curse, because I'll probably just die broke. The best ideas come to me in the night, and they wake me with a jerk. And this curse of mine keeps me up till dawn, and I'm too darn tired to work. The other night at 2 a.m. while riding in my truck, the road bounced some thoughts there from my head. I took a pen, wrote them down, back to myself. I read perfect iambic pentameter. I wanted to share it with whoever was around. I was trying to think, who the heck is open at this hour? And then it dawned on me, I went to that room marked emergency. I walked in, I told that gal, I got iambic pentameter and I want to share it with whoever is around. She grabs the mic, code blue, and in nothing flat, 20 people was putting me down on a gurney. They strapped me in with a posy and they checked me through and through. I thought they was practicing for real sick folks, this thing they call code blue. None of them was listening. I was trying to share my prize, but I couldn't say a word with that thing in my mouth and their light shining in my eyes. And then they took a tube and shoved it down my throat. And then they took another and poked it from the other, and the two of them met in the middle of me. Why, all that chalk I had to drink, I was getting rounder. I was starting to wobble and shake, and I thought that I might founder. And then they made me stand with my arm up overhead, and that mammogram gave a pinch. I don't think this stuff's funny, I only got a ½ inch. Then they put me under with an expensive drug, $4,000 an ounce. And when I woke up 3 days later, I was ready to pounce on somebody till I heard the doctor say, "We found the cause of your iambic pentameter. The test made it easy to see that you needed 2 procedures, one a hemorrhoid and the other tonsillectomy." I don't know what them things are. I never did get the scoop. All I know is when I woke up, I couldn't hoot worth a poop or poop worth a hoot. So there's an example of a modern day cowboy poem. Sometimes we see things in the media, and back in around 2000, the University of Tennessee in Knoxville cloned a sheep, and they named her Dolly. I think she lived about 1.5 years or so. Well, I saw that in the press, and I got thinking, and so I wrote this little ditty about that. I guess it was, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, my uncle called telling us all that he was getting into cloning and he'd be out of touch for a while. He's always had a propensity for, shall I say, well, being a quirk. And so it was with great intensity that he went to work out in his lab. He experimented with deoxyribonucleic acid. That's DNA to you. And before too long, he made himself a sanitary horse that didn't need to poo. And sheep don't need no shearing, no holding down the clip, because the new ones come where you just unzip that coat of fuzzy wool. And then he made a cock that wouldn't crow. Now there's an irritating sound. Now all the chicks know sign language whenever the rooster is around. And he made a cow with one big teat. Fits a shop hose vac real tight. No bending, stooping, or pulling. It's an ergonomic sight. So throw away that pail and stool and funnel. OSHA really likes this thing. It eliminates carpal tunnel. And so it was. He worked out in the lab for 6 long months and never slept. And one night he was reaching for some coffee creamer high up on the shelf. He grabbed the wrong concoction and made a jackass out of himself. So that's another example. Cowboy, what I'm here for tonight, and I'm so off track running into Denny like this, but
Yeah.
we're putting on a program at Happy's Place here in Dubuque, Iowa, and it's going to be sort of a reunion of a community I started on Facebook called Dubuque Roots. And the whole public, of course, is invited, and we're going to entertain people for a 2-hour show. It'll be open from 6 until 11, and there is a small $6 fee that we're going to donate most of it to a nonprofit in the area. But if you go online, it's www.tunesandtalesiowa.com, and you'll see the Mississippi String Band's poster. You just click on there and you can watch them on video. You can click on my face and then you can watch me on video if you want. And so that's what I was here trying to promote. I'm glad you reminded me.
That's good, because, well, they're familiar guys to us too, because I spent 19 years with them playing in the band, but
That's right.
they're great fellers. They keep going, and we got the string band going now, and
Yeah,
they keep at it.
yeah, stay busy.
People our generation, you know, what's wrong with this?
Well, that's it. Yeah, I have stories sort of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Up in the eastern part in the mountains of East Tennessee, where I'm from, this buddy of mine's name's Will. Well, Will's a pretty hard-working fool. He works like 363 or 4 weeks a year. So 1 week a year we go deer hunting out in Nebraska, all the way from Tennessee. This one year, Trixie, that's the little woman, she says, "I'm going with you." I said, "What? You don't even know one end of a weapon from another? Why would you want to go hunting?" She says, "I'm just going." I said, "Okay, suit yourself." So she gets in the truck. Anyway, Will whispers to me, "How come she's going?" I said, "I don't know." So it was sort of a different conversation on the way out with Trixie there. We pull into Bert's place, right in the middle of the state of Nebraska. That's where we hunt. He knew we were coming. Well, Will and Trixie stayed in the truck. I went in, took in a ham and a bottle of bourbon, and set everything on the counter. I said, "Hey, Bert, how you doing?" He goes, "Fine." I said, "What's the matter?" He says, "It's my mule, Bessie. She's old and sick, and I don't have the heart to shoot her." I said, "I'll put her down for you." He said, "Would you, David?" I said, "Yeah. I'll shoot her out there in the yard. We'll get a chain out of the barn, hook her to the back of my pickup, drag her out of here. You'll never see her again." He goes, "Oh, you made my day. Thank you." Going up through the mudroom, though, an idea hit me. Walk in, or out to the parking area there, open up the truck, and I got in and slammed the door. Will's behind the wheel. He goes, "What's the matter?" I said, "That old geezer, we drove all the way out here from Tennessee, and he won't let us go hunting." I said, "Pull a truck up there by that mule." So Will pulls the truck up by the mule. I rolled the window down the rest of the way and took my pistol and went, boom! And I heard another boom! I look over through the smoke, and Will goes, "I got his milk cow too." That's a true story. I am known as the biggest liar in East Tennessee. Yeah, wonder why.
That's a good one, man. So all these years, well, grab your books there and show them, you have product. And tell us a little bit about those.
Sure. The first one is called The Shade Tree Choir, and it's a story about the physical and emotional abuse that I experienced as a small kid growing up all the way into high school years. But it's also a story about hope and escape and ability to cope. And so it's been very, very popular with anybody from the eastern Iowa region up here. So check it out. My website is davidnelsonauthor.com. My second book starts in kindergarten, and the third book ends in present day. This book right here, and both of these are written in short story form and quite easy to read. And this is about, it's called Pals. There were 5 of us that hung around. We are still friends to this day. and we've been friends since the 7th grade. So that's a long time.
Right, that old friends around.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But anyway, these pals are in this book, and it covers all the pranks we pulled in the north end of Dubuque, Iowa, where I'm from, and some funny things and maybe some not so funny things. The last book is also a part of my memoir, and it's again davidnelsonauthor.com, and you can find this on Amazon, all of my books on Amazon. This one takes it from graduate school all the way, like I said, from the present time, and you'll read about things I've done, like catch alligators barehanded.
Gators.
Yeah,
One of the Gator boys.
yeah, that was an interesting night. So,
There's a way to do that and a way not to do that, yeah.
yeah, that's right.
I think that's a good thing to know how to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we won't
Yeah.
tell
If
anybody.
you need that skill.
Let them go through.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, it was a fun time. Just like our shop teacher. Hey, be careful of sharp implements.
Yeah.
Boy, it's really neat to see you know. I come in the room there and sit down for some dinner and introduce ourselves and start yakking about all sorts of things. Oh, this, that, and the other. What parts of the country been and everything, and
Yeah.
and I guess you get around to where you're from, or you living in Tennessee now, and then you're from here.
Yeah, I asked you where
What?
you're from, and you started telling me, and
You mentioned something about going to school on UNI,
yeah,
and I go, what years? And then I go,
yeah,
huh.
Well, he knew that he lived next door to a
Yeah.
Denny Garcia UNI, but
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
no
It
idea.
couldn't be me.
I forgot
Had
that
no
other part of the
idea.
story.
Yeah.
When I started watching your show, one of the other listeners said, I said, Denny Garcia, I knew a Denny Garcia. She said, well, ask him, maybe, and I just blew her off. I thought, no, you're nuts, Kim. And so, boom, Kim, you're not nuts, I'll
No,
tell you that.
Kim
if
is
you're
not.
listening. Yeah.
She'll surprise you.
So,
Well, it's the same person, yes. We were in the same dormitory back
Yeah.
in the 60s.
yeah,
Who would have thunk it?
yeah.
Oh, man, times were different then, for sure. I got the Twink of the Month award, one of those dormitory awards where it was basically a toilet seat with a little kind of a trophy kind of thing, and for climbing down the laundry chute one silly night.
I think I voted for you.
Probably. Oh, all those days in college, that was something.
I bet you none of those stories are in the book.
Yeah.
Are they? You
Yeah,
got very nice
yeah,
stories
many,
in there?
yeah.
Very nice.
That was a good time. Well, yeah, the time was brief there in college, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really neat, though. Last thing I could have expected is to run into somebody like you, and I figured some cowboy from just off. Where's the horse? I get, and it's an old friend. Somebody went to an actual place of higher education.
Yep.
Wow.
I know. I kept saying, you liar, you liar.
He didn't believe me until I showed him my ID.
Yeah.
So, more stories, David. How'd you get into the whole thing of just being a literate man and where you could, tell stories and things? I mean,
Well, I've never had a shy bone in my body. I get no stage fright no matter who I'm performing with or wherever. I just have been that way. The first poem I wrote was in English class at senior high in 11th grade. I received a gift of cowboy poetry. I was listening to it and I go, I can do this. But I think the first thing I need to do is learn how to ride a horse. So I indeed, remember the movie City Slickers? This was that first ride was sort of like that. And then it was tougher afterwards.
Jack Palance says to Billy Crystal, "I crap bigger than you."
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, I wrote down everything I saw, smelled, and all that. And then I came home, let it sit for a little bit, and the rest is history.
Well, that's great.